So here's something a little special I don't get to do very often. I have a large Montana Sapphire, one of the bigger ones that I have stashed away. In person, you might see the purple on camera, but in person it's actually just green, a little bit of blue, but the camera kind of tells you if it's going to color change. Try not to do too much preforming by hand on expensive materials like this, but I want to make sure that I get at least orientation on the table. It's a super clean stone, so I don't have to worry too much about it. I oriented it to be vertical, be less obvious. It is a little bit towards the end, so I'm not super concerned. The sheen do most of the leveling and flatness and just removing. It's kind of a rough surface, so I'm removing some of it to be able to see inside if there's anything hiding. Right. Should be a pretty good one. So that's all the preforming I did. So I'll dop that up and get going. Alright, the stone's dopped up, and the first thing I'm going to do is center it and make sure everything's lined up. It has two vertical sides, and I think I got them pretty straight, but as usual the machine is perfect, so the first thing I'm going to do is mark it with a marker and see if it needs to go up or down. It's not too far off, so it's not the worst thing to remove a little bit of the tulip direction. So I'm going to check the other side here. They're not perfectly parallel. Again, not too far off. I'm going to hit it with a caliper real quick, see how far off it might be. This side's about 6.9, 7.1, so it's off a little bit, but I don't think enough I need to adjust, and it's taking it off on the right corner, so you want to actually spin it just a little bit, kind of split the difference. That's a little bit more, so I'll probably leave it at that. Now, as far as centering it goes, this side, I might want to move that one a little bit. I'm going to check the ends though. 93, 63, but I do have one end here that has a bigger corner, so I actually want to take more off. So I think I'm going to actually grind this, get some flats until they look good, regardless of height. I won't make them the same height. I'll just go them until they look good by eye, and then once I have some good flats, then we'll worry about how far down they need to be and how far off they are. So first corner, or first side I'm going to do is this end, because it's the one that has probably the furthest to go. So start there, get the water going, not spinning too fast since the drip pan's down, and I adjusted this so it's only about 0.05, 0.07, not removing too much material. Just like that, it's done. Check it. Go until I have it's touching top to bottom. Side of her hitting the corner. See how far it needs to go. There, you can see from there how much that marker was removed. It's just a little bit left on the right corner, so, but there's still some pits on the left, so I think we're perfect. Goal on this one is definitely to maximize the size of this one. It's very clean. We're doing a step cut emerald, so the yield potential on this one is super high. It's become almost impossible to find clean Montana, especially unheated ones this size. This one's starting at about 6.5, a little less, 0.45, I think it was. I'm going to do just a little more. Probably don't want to. I'll make sure I don't have like a tiny little corner that's not cut. There we go. Alright, that goes all the way end to end now. There's no pits. The corners are going to have just enough to remove. Check the other side now. So that's hidden perfectly. Very rough surface. I think that'll be pretty good. It's definitely very close. I think I'm going to check now the distance between the two sides. So this one's flat, and this side. So I usually set it at 5 or 10. I get 10 on this one, just for knowing I'm for sure down all the way. 10. This one's 24, which again, this is fractions of a degree, and it doesn't really relate to any actual measurement, but it's just a super accurate way to know how centered it is. So I'm 14, after I take the 10 off the other side, so now I'm flat on this side. This side is 14, so I will split the difference. Now it's 7.07 degrees. I'll make sure this doesn't move, and then I will just quickly and lightly heat the stone and the dop. More the dop than the stone. But just very slowly, because it'll slowly warm up. If you go too fast, you can crack a stone, you can melt the lap depending on what you're using. Let it heat up slowly, and then just the weight of the quill will slowly slide the whole dop through the wax towards the center, and this way you can find the exact center of the stone to within fractions of a millimeter. I put a little downward pressure on the stone just to make sure that that flat we just did is in fact flat. Give it a second to cool, and then I'll pick it straight up. Just let it cool with the weight going down. Keeps the wax, if it's moving. It usually doesn't move anymore, but wait for that stone. Can't do this with every stone. Some heat sensitive stones, it's just too risky to do. You hit it with that flame for a little too long, it'll crack on the dop. You just have to be a little more careful when you're doing the dopping. Maybe use a point dop to find the center. Double check. So it's perfectly centered, but I'm going to loosen it up in the quill here just in case it spun, which it looks like it might have a little bit. You might have to do this a few times depending on how far you move it. Hit this with the marker. It moved a little bit, but not enough. We need to adjust it. So this might be perfect. This side's wider. We need to remove more on this side yet. The inclusion's also on this end. So this one's just touching. This is 10. So 10's not too far off. I think that's about where we want to be. So I think I'm going to do the wider end that we haven't done just to get rid of those kind of deep little pits and stuff. So I think I'm also going to do the corners on this side since I have a deeper corner here, and then I'll be able to see that once I get these two, because I might need to take more off this end. So this particular step cutting did it so that the corners are the same depth as the end here, but they actually can go a little deeper if need be. So this one is pretty good. This is the deep corner. Ooh, that is super close. We're still in the super rough in this stage. So super close is material off and I think it's pretty good. I might just quick touch up those two sides after we removed them. Flat. You can see that inclusion is way on the end now. That's awesome. So that is perfectly centered. Existing stuff. There's two opposing corners that are really close, but we can bring those in a little bit on 600. We don't have to worry about doing that on the rough end. There we go, all centered. We'll get it set up for starting to cut the pavilion in. Alright, so I got this set up now to do the pavilion. On one like this, I'm more concerned about getting the culet to touch. So I'm actually going to start with basically the last facet until it just touches. I'm going to leave a fair amount of space because I am, again, using the coarser one. This is a big, long culet, so I don't want any chips or scratches that are super deep that are going to take forever to get out. So this is just to remove a lot of this material. It wasn't a very blocky piece, so there's going to be a lot of grinding and a lot of weight loss on this first step here. Although it's actually looking pretty good. Excellent. The thing I want to check is I have a lot of space on this side. Is if I need to, based on where the deepest part of the stone is, if I need to move the center, actually move the stone, the length would stay the same, but with a little bit of there. Sometimes it just takes a second until it gets just where it needs to be, and then that last didn't even know it's wide, it just disappear really fast. Let's do the other side, because that's going to remove some of it as well. So I think I'll do the ends, because the facets are getting pretty big. Let's see that inclusion. Looks like it did end up perfectly vertical, which is exactly what I was hoping for. Finished stone is going to be practically invisible. It's also worked its way into the corner, so it'll be underneath the prong. Just going to eyeball it. This design has a different angle, so I'll jump to that real quick. Go. I'll just take it till I remove the rest of this. There we go. Alright. And now we're going to go back. Almost there. I think we got plenty of material there. See, that silk line is looking a little bit cleaner as I go here. There's a little something towards the end. I don't see any splits, so I don't think we're dealing with crack or anything like that. Just a little fleck there. Little tiny hits or little paint. They're so small. They're right there. You have to remove them. That little tiny hit costing so much size and so much weight. Nothing you can do. There's no adjustment. You can change the design, change the angle, but you might end up with a really dull looking stone. Pretty sure I'll be able to cut. Other side here. A little tiny fleck there, but I want to do this. little space or time to use that 600. I want that heel to be nice and sharp. It's looking pretty good. See how troublesome those two kind of short corners are going to be. They're small facets, so they're going to be quick and pretty chippy, so we're going to cut them close but leave them in some ready to go. We'll cut fast on the 600. Just want to get the eyeball of where we're looking. I have to adjust the outline at all. Pretty sure those two corners have to be brought in. That one just makes it. That one doesn't make it. That one definitely needs to get cut in a little bit, so no point in moving it because we got the pits to remove over here. A little bit right there. And I'll bring it into that corner. I'm just gonna hit those ends again. I don't think I need to, but I'll be able to see what I'm working with when I do the outline. Make sure I know as small as I can go. Alright. There we go. That is roughed in, so close up and dry this lap out, clean up a little bit. And then we'll go to the 600 grit and keep going. Alright, got the 600 on and rolling. We're going to start from the very beginning here. Clean up a little stone dust I missed. And I'm going to start with the outline. Remove those last little things. And now we know on 600 we don't have to worry about chipping or it being uneven. That coarse grit is very flat. And now just going by feel and sight and watching the gauge. I think we got enough material. I'm going to take a little bit more just to widen that up a bit on the other side. Luckily we didn't hit any hardness planes, so everything cut nice and fast. Goodness. Alright, pits removed, girdle wider. Now I'm going to start with the treble corner and see how far that needs to go. What's that? And I will be removing material on the end here. That's at 2.5 millimeters, so it's a little bigger than I'd like. But once I flatten that end out, that'll change. I hit all the corners first. Use my finger to, I'm not really pushing down hard, I'm just kind of keeping it from twisting or making sure that it doesn't get caught and twist off the dop. That would be horrible. And I don't think I'll do the ends the same depth. The nice thing about these step designs, they're very, very flexible. Allow you to get a little extra size out of something. You have the space. Performance will be exactly the same, at least in my version of the design. Double check both sides. Alright. And our rough end is pretty close to what we want. So we're going to definitely try and keep these flat, so we'll be not sweeping a lot, keeping it in kind of the same general area of the lap. Like steps to go from the girdle, the lap spinning more or less from the girdle towards the culet or the keel in this case. don't need to remove much material. We did all that in that preforming stage. Mostly I want to make sure I remove any chips, any blemishes that need to be removed, and make sure that the scratches are all very uniform, so I know that I have a nice flat, straight step. I do have a little bit to remove on that hewlett, remember. I'm going to make these a little bigger, so as I remove the material from the hewlett, I'm going to go just a little deeper, just so I don't have to go back and do it again. So actually I like that one. So first step is all the same angle, so we're going to step it around to make sure both sides are even. Plenty of material and space there. Perfect. Now, some steps really kind of watch the angle. If it needs any adjustment, maybe our outline isn't perfectly even, we can adjust it. That's where having a good machine comes into handy, because you can actually trust the measurements. This one is basically perfect. It doesn't get much closer than that, so I don't have to mess with anything. Came out pretty darn straight, so we're not going to mess with that at all. See that silk line in there now with 600. Looks fine. And we're going to go until we remove that particular little hit. Hopefully we don't have to go back and make that first step any deeper. So I'm probably going to have to adjust that first one. Tiny, tiny little fleck. That side's really nice. Nope. Alright. To the corners. A little bit of space. No. And you can again check your steps and depth on each side to see if your points all meet, and this one is a dead straight line, so happy with that. Last two steps on the cutting phase. Alright. That all lines up great. So let's get into that one. Perfect. Alright. Next step is going to be pre-polish. Alright, I have the pre-polish lap here ready to go. Set to the first step here. I'll run this pretty quick here. Get a nice flat facet. It's definitely a little off, so I want to. For some reason it's shaving my lap. I'm not sure why that's happening. So we're going to recharge it. See what's going on here. Angle's correct. It pre-polished nice and smooth. Let's see what's happening. That worked really well, so I'm not sure. Sides nice and even. Huh. No idea. That's working really well now. Cut it nice and fast. Make sure I watch my meats. That was perfect. Good. moment of truth here. We're going to see if that inclusion we were working on has been removed. Make sure that's pre-polishing here. This is a pretty big facet. Oh, there it is. This is a big facet, so I want to make sure I get every last little bit of pre-polishing done. Alright, we definitely got all those inclusions. Perfect. Alright. These will be super quick, so just touch it in. One swipe and check it. Looks good. This will be a really nice one. I left these a little short, so we're just moving the meats now. Looks like I need to move this step down just a hair. We'll go back to the big one. Pre-polished super fast, so looks really good, nice and flat. Now we'll get the polish lap out. Alright, polishing lap out. First thing we're going to do is charge this. We have a pretty big facet to do. Pretty good charge since I think it's been a little while. Start with the pretty much where we left off. We're going to give this one more wipe down because I really don't want to contaminate my lap. Imagine I'm going to have to adjust this back. Yep, sure enough. So I'll do that. Move to the really big ones here. Pretty even. I just gotta work through those scratches. A little edge chipping on this one. Get that out though. Very good. Good look at that heat inclusion. Pretty deep, so I'm glad I didn't try and remove it. Just give that a little bit and check the orientation. Long fast, it's going to be tricky. Adjustment. Pretty good. A few small scratches on the bottom. There we go. I recharge this again. See how that one's going. Really nice. One tiny little spot, almost there. There we go. Back the other way. Looks really good. Got a little silk disc in there. It's amazing how much can hide in a piece of sapphire rough. You just can't see this stuff no matter if you use oil or water. It's nuts. Polishing really nice though. Very, very flat. Nice. That's it. That's all polished up and ready to be transferred. Alright, got it flipped over now, working on the crown. And step one, as always, is to line it up with the pavilion. And this design's pretty easy. We got a long flat side, so we'll just line that up. I have an aluminum block here for when the wax is a little close. I want to make sure it's not hitting the wax, so I'll just pull out this block and use that to flatten it out. A little downward pressure, tighten it down. Make sure we're hanging off the lap. Drop the angle a little bit. Get it down to where it's just touching and scratch it. And we're going to check that that scratch line is nice and flat and straight with the facet. And this one's good. Now the crown will be perfectly lined up with the pavilion. So we're going to go up now. And we'll cut probably medium speed on this one. We'll start on the taller side here. I started with 600 on this. We'll go to the other side here. Just I don't want to deal with any chipping or anything like that. I didn't have any major hardness issues with this particular one, so it's moving pretty good. Check, get that girdle down to the size you want. Now we're going to actually add a step to this. Make sure it's cut flat. Get the plan, raise it up a little. One tricky corner to watch for, and that was the one I just did. So we're good. We got past the chip that was in it. Came out pretty good. Right, moving right along. Alright, and that's 600. It went pretty smooth. Alright, we got the pre-polished lap on. Still have a good charge from last time, so we're just going to go right to the first facet here. Make sure we're getting that direction, and we're going to miss the drip tray. We're going to spin this one pretty quick. Double check my number. Alright. Check how it's hitting. It looks pretty even. It's hitting perfectly. Just going to try and move the meats a little bit on this one. Make sure we get a good pre-polish. This one's really cooperating. Nice and smooth and perfect, just a little bit. Sometimes the laps just get into just the right spot and things go really smooth. Good. Not gonna monkey with that one too much. Raise it up. Next tier. Start with number 1 here. I kind of want this one to be a little bigger, I think, so I'm gonna move the meats a little further on this one. A little further down. Quite a bit. So I want to make sure my table's not too small. So I'm going to go corners all the way around so I can line up all the meats. Since I moved it as far as I did. Coming out really nice and even. It's lining up really well all the way across, doing all the way around, and we're pretty much dead on here. Just eyeballing it, all the steps look even. Alright. Last step here. I want to make the top 2 steps a little bit smaller. That way the table can be a little bigger. I think steps look a little better with slightly larger tables. Since they're not really meant for performance, they're more meant to show off colors, so make sure that color is fully seen throughout the whole stone. I'm actually gonna add some diamond charge to this one, I think, so we're not sitting here forever. Clean that up quick. I'm gonna add just a little bit. Sure we don't go too far. Yeah, that was really fast, so slow it down a little. That's pretty good. Go real slow here because that was way too far. Last big one here. Hopefully everything lines up. It's looking pretty good. Alright, I'm gonna hit the girdle real quick. Slow it down just a hair so it doesn't catch the girdle and throw the stone. Make sure the top is not going to hit the lap. Drop it down real slow. Couple quick swipes. Down. Only checks it's so far down. Other side. That's good too. Alright. Ends. That's it for pre-polish. This all cleaned up and polish lap on. Alright, got the polishing lap on, the stone's cleaned off. Set the angle of that first step. And we're going to charge this right away. A little bit. Sure there's not too much extra. Double check the angle. Get a few swipes in on this first one. Check to see our alignment. Oh, it's perfect. I'm actually going to leave it. I think the facet drifted, so I'll let the polish bring that back into correction. Oh, perfect. Just got a little fleck in the corner. These are polishing out really, really glossy, so very nice. Really good. Really good. Alright. Second step. See how this one goes. I might recharge right away since that worked really well. Yeah, we're going to recharge that right away. This one kind of drifted a little bit. I could see while I was working on it. Put a little arch in there, but it's small enough. I think polish will straighten that out. The long side will probably take a minute, but the rest will come down pretty quick. I have to move any needs, but they're pretty darn close, so it's getting there. A little corner left. It's got to move more and more facet as we go. Perfect. These should be pretty quick. This one's got to be until that angle is just a little high. It's nice. I think I'm gonna recharge one more time. That just comes out so clean. Almost. A little straighten to do on this one too. Let's go and give it just a little more. That worked out really well. Alright. Polish. Looks pretty clean. That one disc is there, a little one on the other side, but not bad for a Montana this side, so gotta clean this one up and get on the table. Alright, so 600 lap is on. And take care of this now. Take the stone out. Set this set screw, screw it in. Set it so that there's a solid piece on the side. Get that angle set to whatever type of block you have. Mine's a 45-degree. Drop it down. Put a little down pressure so it lays flat. Tighten that up. Set the stone. I'm going to line up the long edge with the block, so if I need to adjust it, it's obvious which way I need to adjust it, left, right, up, down. Go, get our sponge in here. Water drip going. Go relatively fast, not super fast. Drop it slow. Quick check. Get a real close look. It's hitting all the corners at the same time perfectly. There's no meats on a emerald table. Pretty much eyeballing the steps, so I just want my top 2 steps to be about the same size. And while it's frosted, that's when you can kind of tell that it's cutting evenly. So it looks like a rectangle. Corners don't look any bigger on one side opposed to another. We're gonna dry this up and get the pre-polished lap on there. Alright, got the pre-polished lap on. Cleaned up a little bit. Slide this in, drop it down slow. Check it right away, make sure it's hitting evenly, nice and clean. Give it one more wipe. And we'll get the polishing lap on. Alright, polishing lap is on. And I'm gonna charge it again. Probably don't have to, but the table is a little bit bigger. This has been polishing really nice with a fresh charge today, so don't fix it if it's not broken. Go. Now, if you check the alignment, make sure there's nothing sneaky hiding anywhere. One little spot, I can't tell if it's a smudge or a little orange peel. Thinking it's a smudge though, because I didn't see it before. Fresh paper towel, just a smudge. Beautiful. That's it. Done. Get this off the dop and get a good video.